morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're looking at this video. So I wanted to share something with you. God is amazing, and he just broke something. That was a nugget that he shared, so I wanted to come on and share with you. So today I was at work. I've been doing some outside work or whatever, so I had to have some boots or whatever. So mind you, these boots, when they were new, they were black, they were shiny, they had the pink and black shoestrings in them or whatever. They was nice. You know, I ministered in these boots. I help people with these boots, get deliverance with these boots. These boots have been through a storm, literally a Hurricane Milton about 2 years ago. Helping the place where we were at, the church that we were at, get the seats out of the sanctuary because it had flooded in there. If you know, you know. You know, and then it's like, so I wore them or whatever. Yeah, they had got wet, but they seemed fine. They had been in the garage or whatever. Didn't really have a need to wear them, but then I had started doing some outside work and I needed my boots. So I was like, okay. So I had them on yesterday. I was out in the sun or whatever. Then I noticed it was like, okay, it was some peeling or whatever. And then today, the sun was sunny, and I looked at them, and I had sat down for break. And it's just like anything in our life. It starts out fine. It starts out as what you need. But then as seasons change, as things change, guess what? We have to change other things also. So when I first put them on, they were still black. There wasn't any cracks. But under the heat, look at this. It could not stand the heat. When the heat got exposed to it, it began to crack, it began to peel, it began to expose and show the different flaws. So how is that even, I'm going back in the car now because it's a little warm outside. How is that even in our lives? I'm gonna go ahead and flip the, hold on, I'm trying to flip the camera around. Okay, I got the camera turned around now. Praise God. But as I was saying, how many things do we hold on to because they seem fine, or oh, I can still use it, or it's still good, and yet it was perfect for prior seasons or that last season, but not so much for this season. When we take things, and I say we, when we take things from old seasons into a new season where God is trying to stretch us, break us, elevate us, or just take us to another level, when the fire heats up, just like the sun was sunning and the fire heated up, basically, because it was hot. Let me tell you, it was hot outside. I had to take several breaks. It was hot outside. But when it heats up, it exposes everything that is not like Him. It exposes everything that we can no longer use, that we no longer need. Those relationships, those items, those commitments, those, well, you see it as a responsibility, and God said, no, it's time to shift. What is it, or who is it that we're holding on to that He's saying, I need you to let it go before I shine the light, before I put some fire, and you begin to see the cracks, you begin to see the breakdown? Why do we have to hold on to things until they fall apart? When God is saying, okay, that season is up. Move on, go on to the next. And a lot of times we hold on to stuff, oh, it's my favorite this, or so-and-so gave me this, and I've had it for all these years. And some of those things are nice, but when they have outlived their purpose, when they have gone past basically destruction, like them shoes, because they are going in the trash and getting up here. But when they have gone past serving their purpose, why do we hold on to these things? Even in relationships, when God says, okay, you know what, that season is up, something has changed, I'm changing you and I'm shifting them, and we don't want to let go. But no, that's my friend, that's my this, that's my that. And we're in these relationships, or we're in these things that sometimes we don't even want to be in them. We don't. I'm going to come back later and add at the end of this, because it's actually a chapter in the book. I was talking about being in those relationships that we don't want to be in, but we don't want to be alone. We just have to have somebody. We have that need because there's a void within us. Just like, okay, why can't we get rid of stuff that we know we need to get rid of? You know you need to get rid of it. That phone is on its last leg. Those jeans, they don't fit no more. That relationship that you should have been let go of because it was toxic. You seen the flags, you seen the writing on the wall. They basically done said they don't need you anymore, but you're still trying to hold on and hold out hope. And this isn't like in the domestic violence thing or whatever. These are just actual relationships, because they can be boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. They can just be regular friendships that you're trying to hold on to that are toxic because you're trying to prove a point, or because you've been in it for so long. And the other thing is, and I'll say I'm guilty of it, I done put so much time, attention, investment, money, whatever. I'm finna see this to the end. And we cause ourselves more harm. We cause ourselves more destitution instead of just, you know what? I'm going to cut my losses and I'll go. Because when we don't, you see how tired I'm looking right now? Because that sun beat the snot out of me. But we get tired. We get drained. We have headaches. Because we're not letting go of things that God is telling us to let go of. We're still holding on to stuff that He said, if you let it go, I can give you something else. If you let it go, the next will come. If you let it go, everything that you've been praying and crying out to me will happen. But we get so stubborn. We get so complacent. We don't want to let it go. And mind you, I got all of that from sitting there on lunch break, trying to cool off, looking at my shoes. I said, God, you got jokes. He was like, no, I'm serious. I'm like, yeah, I'm letting the shoes go. But it's a reminder in everything that, yeah, we say, oh, this is out of date, but it's going to come back around. We know bell bottoms was out of date. It came back around. Psychedelic colors, it came back around. Certain stuff, certain trends, certain things, yes. But when God is telling you something to let go, when God is telling you, hey, that relationship can no longer be that way, we have to listen and let go. And sometimes letting go doesn't necessarily mean you don't like the person anymore. Y'all got to have this big falling out. Letting go is just growth and maturity that, okay, God wants to take you somewhere else and do something else with you. And now they've come up, but He needs to grow them up more, that they're able to stand on their own 2 feet. We've been too long that we've been people's crutches. We started out as their training wheels. What do training wheels do? They help to balance you when you're learning to ride a bike. But at some point, the training wheels are supposed to come off so you're able to just ride the bike. But if we constantly are the person's training wheels, They're no longer training wheels, they become crutches. Now they can't do anything, they can't expand because they're always looking at you, and they shouldn't be looking at you, they should be looking at God. Anyone or anything that you place on the pedestal that's above God becomes an idol, and He will knock it down. Because He says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Anyone or anything you place on a pedestal above Him, you make an idol. So when He's saying, I need you to let this go because of what I'm getting ready to do, and you want to fight and tussle, well, no, because we've been friends for so long, or we did this, or we did that, or yada, yada, yada. Now you're making that relationship, you're making that situation an idol before God. So now, since you did not heed His instructions, you did not heed the warning to gracefully separate, where you can still be cordial, but move yourself aside so they're not so much relying on you or you relying on them, then it is going to be a fallout. Because you didn't end it peacefully. So now there has to be something that is going to cause a separation. And you don't want it to happen that way, because God is going to have His way in the end. Trust and believe me. He's going to have His way in the end. So do you do it His way, where you can separate amicably and you're still cordial and can be there every now and then as long as He allows? Or are you going to sit there and fight and come up with every reason in the world why he should change his mind? And that's not what He said. Even when He says, let stuff go out of our closet, out of our bank accounts, out of wherever, it doesn't belong to us anyway. It's His. And if we're holding on to it, then the things that we are asking for, we're not going to get. Because if He gets it to us, He wants to be able to get it through us. So, okay, He can say, you know what? I'm going to bless you with $100,000. Yes, Lord, that would be lovely. Just saying. And then He says, you all excited. You got $100,000. They cleared this in your bank account. And the next day He says, I need you to get that. I need you to get this one, $500,000. I need you to give that one, $500,000. You looking like, but I just got $100,000. So if I give this one that and that one that, then I ain't gonna have $100,000 no more. But are you gonna be obedient? Because it wasn't yours to begin with. Because you didn't have it technically. He gave it to you, but He wanted to see will you be obedient with it. So if you hem and haw and you don't give it to them because they're really in need, you don't realize that behind the scenes, or basically waiting, as soon as you transfer that out, that He has $250,000 waiting for you. I'm just using monetary. It can be anything. But if He gives it to us and it's a blessing, and He says, hey, bless somebody else or give this away, because if we're sitting up here doing like this, how can we receive? We can't receive. If this was money and God is trying to drop this in my hand, it bounces off because I won't let go of what's already there. So therefore I can't receive more. It's the same thing when we're holding on to things that He's telling us not to hold on to. Whether it's items, it could be clothes, it could be shoes, it could be jewelry, it could be household stuff, furniture, whatever it is, relationships, whatever it is. If He's saying this is the season to let it go, then you need to let it go. Because once He turns the heat up and that light is shined on there, you saw these shoes, it's just not going to be good. You're going to see the cracks, the crevices, the blemishes. You're going to see everything that is not, basically not what you want to see. So let it go. Move forward. Open yourself up for the opportunity and the availability for what it is that he wants to do next in your life. I just wanted to hop on and share that. But now I have to go get some rest. So I'll come back later with the excerpt part with this. Maybe. We'll see. Thank you for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe and share. And as always, don't allow the traumas of your past to imprison your future. It's time to get unlocked. Welcome to your new journey. Have a great evening. Close up view. Don't do what you're supposed to do.